Welcome to Too Much TV. I'm your host, Brian Levinson. Today we have a jam-packed show. Our guests include Sharon Pinkenson, Executive Director of the Greater Philadelphia Film Office, Steve Coates, the Philadelphia Flyers Radio Analysis, Abdul Collier, Captain of the PW Boys Basketball Team, and Kristen Bear, Captain of the Field Hockey, Swimming, and Lacrosse Team. Our first guest today is Sharon Pinkenson. She is the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Area Film Office, and she's in charge of all the production of bringing movies to the Philadelphia area. Sharon, first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Okay, why don't you explain for our viewers a little bit what you do?
Well, the Greater Philadelphia Film Office is responsible, as you said, for attracting film and video production to the region. We really work with all genre, everything from feature films to television commercials, industrial films, and student films even, we assist. And then once the project gets or decides to shoot in the Philadelphia area, whether it's in the suburbs or in the city, we help them with everything from working with police if they need police, or getting parking, finding locations, getting hotel rooms, anything at all they need, and basically act as a free producer.
Right. Now, how did you get started in this field?
I was actually appointed by Mayor Rendell in the beginning of his administration in January of '92. That was when I started running the film office. But I've been in the film industry for a long time before that. For about 8 years or so prior to getting this job, I was a costume designer, and I did movies and TV commercials.
Right. Now, you have a very interesting job. What do you enjoy most about it?
I think that I like my favorite thing is when I find out, the day that I find out that a movie's coming to Philadelphia. That's definitely the most exciting, because that means that all of our hard work has really paid off. It means that a lot of Philadelphians are going to get hired, and people besides myself are going to have an opportunity to share in the excitement.
Right. Now, what are some of the films you brought to Philadelphia recently?
Well, I can tell you that the very first film that I worked on, big feature film that I worked on, was The Age of Innocence, Martin Scorsese's film. Then we had the movie Philadelphia, which, by the way, started out being called At Risk and People Like Us and Jonathan Demme's Fall Project, and not until after the movie was almost finished did they decide to call it Philadelphia. We also worked on the Brad Pitt, Bruce Willis film that probably a lot of your viewers got to see this year, called 12 Monkeys. Up Close and Personal, which is in the movie theaters right now, opened 2 weeks ago, is another film that I worked on. And then one that we worked on last fall, which is going to be released, I don't know, maybe in the summer, is called Wide Awake, and that was shot mostly in Montgomery County. And it stars Rosie O'Donnell, Dennis Leary, and Dana Delaney.
Right around the corner here.
Yeah.
Who are some of the actors and actresses you enjoy working with the most?
Well, like everybody else, I was excited that Brad Pitt was coming to town. I also was excited that Bruce Willis was coming to town. I'm a big fan of Bruce Willis's, and I can tell you that he's really a great guy and very personable, and it was lots of fun to work with him. I enjoyed meeting Robert Redford. There are a couple of actresses that I also liked meeting. No, but all in all, it's, I thought that Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington were both extraordinary and very friendly.
So you're in charge of basically being there at the movie when they're shooting, or are you just...
Actually, the whole ball of wax is my responsibility.
Put it all together.
Yeah, everything from worrying about whether the neighbors are complaining that their parking place has been taken away so that we can disrupt their lives and make a movie, or up to the business people and hiring the police officers, and really basically being a producer in charge of all the local aspects.
So do you go out and try to find movies to come here, or do they try to call you and say, I want to shoot in the Philadelphia area?
Actually, a combination of the two. I just got back from Los Angeles just on Monday, from a week out there trying to find new productions to shoot in the greater Philadelphia area. And we got a lot of really good leads. And sometimes they call us because they're looking for a location that they think may exist in Philadelphia.
What's the place you usually find your extras for the movies at? People that have extras in the movies, where do you usually find them at?
Well, it's really, for the most part, it's not our job to hire extras or really to hire anyone at all. What we do is make the people who are responsible for hiring, the casting agents, to put them together with the producers. But we do have a hotline, and you may be interested in knowing that the hotline number is 215 686.
Excuse the bells.
Okay. The hotline number for the film office is 215-686-3663. And frequently there are opportunities to work on films or to be an extra on the hotline.
Great. Now, I'm sure in the last 5 years there's been some strange things that's happened. What's like the strangest or craziest thing that's happened to you?
I think that that the most unusual film that I worked on was 12 Monkeys, and that's the thing about it that made it so unusual and so interesting was the fact that there were so many animals, exotic animals in the film, and a lot of people think that that was done with special effects or done in post-production. The truth is that almost all of it was. Almost everything that you saw on the screen was actually done by set dressing, or really the animals were there. And I'll never forget the day that we had to close 76, the Schuylkill Expressway, and the exit off at South Street so that we could actually walk elephants across the South Street Bridge. That was a pretty unusual day.
So do you usually have a problem with blocking off parts of the city, or do you have to talk to Mayor Rendell about that, or are you in charge of that too?
Well, I'm in charge of that. We have a movie that's going to be shooting in the middle of April, and we have an example of that is going to occur tomorrow. We're going to have a pre-production meeting where the heads of all the different city departments that have something to do or may have an effect or be affected by this motion picture. We're all going to meet in a room with the producer and go over the details about what they want to do, and we'll work it out.
What's some of your advice for some of our viewers who might be interested in this field?
If you're interested in the movie business, the thing to do is to just get jobs in it, any kind of jobs. Production assistant, getting the coffee, being somebody's helper. Just volunteer and be in it, because this is probably one of the last industries in the world that you can start out at the most minimal job and end up being the chairman of the company. Right. People basically get hired in this business in bigger and bigger jobs because of their experience. So the most important thing to do is to get experience. Just get out there and work in the industry.
Could you see yourself doing this 5 years from now? Or do you try to move up maybe a little more?
I expect that I'll be producing my own films then.
So we'll see your name run through as movies?
Oh, you see them now. And in fact, everybody should stay and at the end of a movie and watch the credits roll, especially movies that were shot in this area, because I think it'll be interesting for you to see how many local people actually work on a film.
Right. Well, I'd like to thank you all for joining us, taking time from your busy schedule.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back after this break.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Remember how good it felt the first time you gave 5? Well, now there's another way to give 5. Set a goal to give more. 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. It'll make you feel like a winner every day of your life. So give more. Give 5. Call 1-800-55-GIVE-5.
Welcome back to Too Much TV. I'm Brian Medicine. Today, right now, I'm joined by Steve Coates. He's a Philadelphia Flyers radio analyst, and I'd like to thank him for joining us this afternoon.
Okay, Brian.
Okay, first of all, why don't you tell our viewers pretty much what you do?
Well, my job is to try to make it exciting for you sitting at home, whether you are at home or in your car, and try to describe to you what's going on as far as the hockey game is concerned, and try to make you visualize, and the people at home visualize what's actually happening on the ice surface. It's a little bit different as compared to television, where people have already seen it and you have to describe why, as compared to radio, where we have to tell you why and where and how and the whole ball of wax. So it's just a form of entertainment, really.
How'd you get involved in doing this?
Well, back in 1980, I finished playing hockey, and at that time, a gentleman named Pete Silverman was the radio and television producer for the Philadelphia Flyers. He said, "You got a good voice, you talk a lot, so let's put you on the air. And I started working with Gene Hart in 1980 as a radio color analyst. I did 30 games a year, and it's just grown since then.
You enjoy what you do?
Oh, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do.
Seems that way. Heard you were quite a brawler when you played hockey.
Oh, who you been talking to? No.
I've been talking. I know.
Well, I was only 5'8", 170 pounds in those days. And in fact, in 1973, when I first came to Philadelphia Flyers training camp, of the 75 guys in training camp, I was the smallest guy. So that just shows you. In that day, the average size of a player was 5'10", 5'11", 185, 190 pounds. Now the average player is around 6'1", 195, 200. But when you're small like I was, and in the days of hockey where intimidation was a big factor, you had to fight to survive.
I was told not to ask any embarrassing questions. I don't want to get slugged or anything.
You don't want. You can ask me anything you want. There's no problem.
Why did you decide to stop playing hockey?
It was, let's say, a combination between they didn't want me anymore, and at the same time, I had a real bad back, and I figured that if I had a hard time bending over doing my skates up, it was time to call it a day. I was 30 years old, and it'd come to an end.
Right. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you so far as being a Flyers analyst?
Oh, probably the thing that most people in Philadelphia know about, when I got caught on the air looking at a blonde last year in Ottawa. The interesting thing that happened was that we were in Ottawa. It was the end of the preseason schedule. It was a lousy game. It was kind of boring, and I had the binoculars out, and I was looking at this blonde that was across the way. And
she's in the audience right now.
Okay, yeah, if she is, huh? And so when we go to break, anytime we go to break, we'll say we'll be right back on the WIP Flyers Hockey Network, and that's the engineer's cue to go to commercial back at the station. Well, they didn't go back to commercial, so I was still hot. And I didn't know I had said it until we got back the following day. In other words, I live an hour away from Philadelphia, so on back-to-back nights, I stay up in Philadelphia and then go home. Right. So I went to the practice rink the next day, and Billy Barber said to me, he says, well, tell me about that blonde last night in Ottawa. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, you were saying last night there was a blonde in the stands. And I said, oh, that went on the air? Okay, so be it. Well, not 10 minutes later, another person walked into the practice arena over in Voorhees, and they said, hey, we just heard you on the air. And I said, how'd you hear me on the air? He says, oh, they're playing that you saw that blonde on the air 4 times an hour on WIP. So the embarrassing thing was is that I hadn't been home, and my wife listens to that show. So I don't think it would have been too cool if she was driving to work that day and heard that I was looking at blondes. But that's... And the moral of the story for a young gentleman like yourself that's learning this business is always treat that like a loaded gun.
I've learned that before. Past or present, who's like your favorite Flyer to talk to?
Oh, gosh. I mean, you can go back over the years. There's been a lot of characters. I think Brad Marsh, one of the bigger characters that ever played for the Philadelphia Flyers as far as talking and having some fun. But you know what? When you look at the Flyers in the 14 years that I've been doing this, I don't think that it's a lot easier to answer the question by saying there wasn't really anybody I didn't enjoy talking. I mean, if you have the opportunity to sit down and talk hockey with these guys, and these guys are a good bunch of people, and so anytime you have the opportunity to sit down and shoot the breeze and talk hockey, I've enjoyed every one of them.
What about Dave Brown? He was a pretty crazy player back in the day.
Well, Dave Brown had a purpose, and Dave Brown understood his purpose. He wasn't graced with the talents of skating and shooting and stick handling that the other players in the league did, but he knew that he had the ability to take care of himself as far as fisticuffs is concerned. And when you understand that you have that ability, you take advantage of it. And Dave Brown made a nice career out of being an enforcer on a hockey team. And as you know, he's still playing with the San Jose Sharks.
Sure. Now, during the day, like at night, you're announcing the games. What kind of preparation goes into what you do? Well,
a typical game day would have me go to the practice rink at 10:30 in the morning for the morning skate for the Philadelphia Flyers. And then I try to talk to Terry Murray a little bit, find out what he wants to do as far as the lines is concerned, what he's looking for from the opponent, like Tampa Bay last night. Right. And then from there, I would go back to the Spectrum, like yesterday, 11:30, watch Tampa Bay skate, and then talk to Terry Crisps in the after practice, find out what's been important, the key to his success lately. And the first thing he said right out of his mouth yesterday was that the team's played well as a team. They've worked hard, and that's been the key to their success. But he also said Darren Poop has been a big key. So then if I can take 2 or 3 little tidbits like that into the broadcast, that's a very important thing. Then after that, I'll spend a couple hours, 2-3 hours, depending upon who it is, and what's involved as far as paperwork is concerned, to get prepared. And then at 5:30, we'll go to the press room, and that's where you get the latest gossip on everything, sitting and talking to the other broadcasters and things like that, getting ready for a 7:30 game.
Great. What do you think so far of the Flyers this season, like in the future?
Well, I think that a lot of people are disappointed in the Flyers season, considering that the anticipation of a real good year coming off the semifinals, playoff success last year, finally getting beaten by the New Jersey Devils. But when you look at the team as a whole, this is still a very good hockey team, and they've had some problems. You know, they've really had, when they've had bad goaltending, or not bad goaltending, but goaltending that was a little less than acceptable. The team was going good, but then the goaltending went the other way, and then the goaltending was great, and the team was going the other way. And I think that it's just a matter of time when everything just clicks, and I think this is the time of year when you're going to look for it to click. A lot of people are frustrated right now. We're 0-3-1 in our last 4 games, and they say, well, you know, this team's so good, why aren't we winning hockey games? But we're out shooting, out chancing, out playing everybody. We're just not scoring goals. And it's just one of those things. It's certainly not from a lack of talent. It's not from a lack of effort. It's not from a lack of concentration. It's just one of those things that, you know, some days you score goals and some days you don't. You know, players go through times where they've got 4 or 5 games without goals. Right now, our team is going through that. And when you see the amount of shots on net and you see the type of goaltending we've been seeing, you certainly can't get upset. So I don't think that there's anything to worry about this hockey team. And when you have the advantage of being with them every day and understanding where their thoughts are, then you really don't worry. If there was a problem of dissension on the team or a lack of confidence, any kind of problems like that, then you wouldn't be saying the things I'm saying. But certainly there's no problems with this hockey team.
Now, working with 610, do you have a chance to react with any of the 610 announcers?
No.
Some characters on that station.
Well, there's some personalities, and the circumstances that I do the Flyers broadcasts, and last year we had the opportunity to do a post-game show, which is much like what the WIP people do as far as call-ins and things like that. So, and we'll be doing that again during the playoffs this year.
Great. So could you see yourself doing this for a while, or you trying to move on to something?
Well, I've gone full circle. I started in radio. I went to television, which was a horrible experience for me.
57?
Oh, it was a horrible experience for me. I went from radio. I'd never been in a television studio, let alone a television station before, and all of a sudden they threw me behind the camera a week after they told me that they wanted me to do it. And I grew into it, and I think that it'd be a lot different for me now as far as the confidence level is concerned. But I'd like to think that I got a face for radio, so maybe I just stay where I'm at.
Yeah, like for radio, do you even you probably show up there in a sweatshirt and shorts or something? You have to get
No, actually, I dress better now on radio than I did when I was doing Channel 57 and Channel 29. I used to wear a pair of sweatpants, or when it was really nice out, I'd wear Bermuda shorts because I was behind a desk, so all I had was a shirt, tie, and a jacket on.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for joining us.
Brian, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Sort of listen to him on 610, and we'll be back after this break.
Brothers and fellow mountain goats, this year's recipient of the treasured Black Horn Award, Richard Lynch. Come on up here, Dick.
What are you doing this weekend that's so important you can't take a little time to test your home for radon? After all, it is the second leading cause of lung cancer, and a radon test kit is inexpensive. You could pick one up on your way to the lodge.
If you took away a star for every 1 million people who didn't vote, and a stripe for every 5 million non-voters, and a patch of blue for the 10 million people who didn't care, exactly what kind of flag are we waving?
Levinson, right now I'm joined by senior captain of the basketball team, Abdul Collier. Thanks a lot for joining us, Abdul. Okay, first of all, congratulations on a great season. You guys went, pretty far in the playoffs this year. I think farther than many people expected. But last night against Harrisburg, I don't know what happened there.
They pressed us the whole game. It slowed us down a lot. Plus Chuck got hurt, and that was the big thing right there. He got hurt, so that took away points, decision making, assists, took away a lot from our team. But we didn't rebound well, and we're about equal speed, but they're a little bigger than us at the guard position. And they just played a lot better than us. They scored when they needed to score.
Right.
They capitalized off our mistakes, and we didn't capitalize off of their mistakes.
A lot of key threes towards the end.
Yeah, that's what did it.
Would you say that's probably the toughest team you played this year? Or is
I think Chester's the toughest team we played this year. But they were pretty tough. They were about the same.
What do you think you would consider the turning point of the season?
I think it would have to be that Coatesville loss. I mean, because we were riding high coming to the Coatesville game, and then we played them and they at our home, and they beat us. So that made the difference right there.
Heartbreaker, heartbreaker. How about your 41 points versus Cheltenham? No one really expected you score anything more than 30 in the game this year.
Well, you know, it was funny because someone had said something like I needed 40 before the game, but I didn't believe him. I just laughed it off, and I said, well, I get it if I need it. And it so happened that I did get it. You know, I was just playing my game, and I just was scoring, and it just happened. So.
That was probably the best game you played this year. And with the Ridley game last year, how many points you scored in that game?
I'm not sure. I don't even remember. But I know it was a lot.
60-something. Had about 42 in one quarter. I remember that. I don't know. That was a good game. But with your two playoff wins this year against Upper Darby and Truman, two pretty good basketball teams, especially Truman, you think that would overshadow the loss to Ridley last year in the playoffs? Disappointing in the loss.
Well, in the back of our heads it did, because we just wanted to get that Ridley loss out of our heads. We thought about it the whole year. That was our inspiration for the offseason and everything. We wanted to get past the second round because it would open up doors for our certain players and things like that. And once we got past Truman, that helped. You know, that was a big game. That was a tough team to play in the second round. And that helped us emotionally and our confidence and stuff.
And then going on to play North Penn, beating them, very good basketball team, and then you know, unfortunately losing to Chester, but coming, bouncing back before the state, playoff on a good note, beating Coatesville. I think that was pretty important too.
It helped us a lot. We wanted to get back at them so bad. We were saying that all season that we want to play them again. We were hoping to play them, hopefully in the championship, but that didn't happen.
So it was probably, I would probably consider that maybe one of the most exciting games this season.
Yeah.
Now, who do you think on the basketball team stepped up this year? Most people you wouldn't expect. They stepped up and gave the Colonials a good hand.
I think John Simons did. He helped us out a lot. People didn't think that he would step up as much as he did because he helped us out being versatile. That's what helped us out the most. Rebounding, shooting a three, being inside, posting up. That did the job there. And Fazio, he stepped up. He came in and hit key threes. Paul Borshevitz did a great job, and Tommy. We knew they would be there because they're leaders, they're winners, and they did. They came up for us.
How do you think the team will be doing in the future next year with a lot of young players on the team? Exception to you, Tommy, and Paul graduating, and Jay Volts. Big asset. A lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores on the team.
They'll be good. They're talented. They have to work at the game continually all summer. All they do is just play, play, and play, and they'll be good. And they have a taste of what it's like this year, so next year they can go out and grab it.
He's always modest. All right. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Adol for joining us. We'll be signing autographs in the Coral Lounge afterwards. You might want to get them $5 an autograph, but actually not. We'll be back after this break.
This is just one of the many parts you can play as a young Red Cross volunteer. Volunteer and play your part.
Welcome back to Too Much TV. I'm Brian Levinson. Right now I'm joined with Kristen Bear, captain of the field hockey, girls swimming, and lacrosse team. I'd like to thank Kristen for joining us today. Okay, calm down, guys. Guys get a little excited when you come on. Okay, triathlete, field hockey, swimming, lacrosse. What sport do you enjoy the most?
Definitely lacrosse. That's what I plan to play in college, so I like the most. I mean, I like all three sports. It's good that I play three. I usually get sick of the we won in the fall, and then
Right.
swimming comes along. So, but I like lacrosse the best.
Start with field hockey. You guys went really far, pretty far in the playoffs this year. No one really expected that. You had a new head coach, Ms. Paparone. How do you think that worked out?
I think Miss Paparone was the reason that we got this far. We hadn't planned. I mean, we hadn't planned on going past the playoffs any year here.
Right.
But she came and made a big difference. I mean, boosted our confidence level, and our team seemed to be a lot more together this year, more than ever. So.
Do you think they'll continue success in the future?
Yeah, they have a lot of good junior and sophomore athletes, so I think they'll be really good, especially when Miss Paparone gets a few years under her belt. She'll be
Right.
really
She used
good.
to coach at Wissahickon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They transferred her in here somehow. Now, with swimming, you went to states this year. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Was that the first year you made states?
No, this is the third year.
Third year.
Yeah. But this year, our relay went, so it was a lot more fun. My sophomore and junior year, I was the only one from our school that went. I'm the only girl who went, and it's kind of lonely up there, but this year was a lot of fun. Gave me more confidence up there with my friends being up there.
I think Mr. Rubin's doing a good job as a coach.
Yeah, really good job. It's the fourth year with him, so I kind of know how he's going to coach. We can help each other with tapering at the end of the season and stuff. So.
Sure. It's kind of tough swimming in that PW pool, though. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
People throwing things in there.
I know.
Yeah. Anti-vandalism here at PW. I don't know.
Second time that happened. This
Yeah. Oh, God. Now with lacrosse, that's going to be starting up in a little bit. How do you think the team will do this year?
It's hard to tell. We're kind of young, and we only have 4 seniors on the team, including myself. And we have a lot of, there's a few good freshmen coming up, and we have a few good juniors. But I don't know. I can't wait to see. I hope we did pretty good. I mean,
How did the team do last year?
We had like a 500 record. We were good, and we could hold our own, but we were, there's definitely room for improvement. So.
With everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lacrosse is a pretty violent game. Is there any you had any violent injuries or anything?
No. There's a few arguments with the girls out there, but it's kind of restricted. I mean, it's a lot different than men's lacrosse. I mean, you get called for everything. You can't check, below the, below your shoulders, and you can't check body.
That's no fun.
I know. But yeah, but it's not too bad. I mean, not that rough.
Now, do you have a new coach this year for lacrosse?
No, it's Ellen Riley is the head coach, but we have 2 assistant coaches. Miss Mazer, who just graduated from Westchester a few years ago, and we also have a JV coach who went to UVA and played hockey and lacrosse there. And she plays on the U.S. developmental squad for lacrosse. So she has a lot of good ideas. Both young coaches, just got out of college, so they know what's new and what's good to do, the plays and stuff. So.
Joey Mazer played lacrosse here at PW.
Yeah.
PW grad. There you go. Once again, put her up on the wall next week. Now, besides sports, it's not all you do. We think, she's an athlete, but you also have been the president of the senior class for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy doing that?
Oh yeah, I love it. I don't know. For some reason, I like putting stuff together for the class and like leading the class. I love it.
You enjoy running the class?
Yeah.
Where do you think you'll be, playing sports in college next year? Or?
Yeah, playing lacrosse at Georgetown, so I'm excited about that.
That's cool. Maybe Alan Iverson will be back.
Yeah, hopefully. I think he is.
That's good. Good news. It's good. There's some interesting people going to Georgetown, but
yeah.
I'd like to thank Kristen for joining us.
Thanks very much.
And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on Too Much TV, and that's about it. Thanks a lot.